I think I'm finally I think I'm finally all together. Ugh, discombobulated today. Just gonna check my sound here. Make sure my sound is working. Okay, I think it's working. Switch cameras. Hello. Hello and welcome. It's me. It's Lulu. I'm here this Valentine's Day for some cute little fun visual novel stuff. I don't really know anything about this. I went and I looked up a list of the best romance visual novels because I was kind of hoping to play like a cute dating sim for Valentine's Day. And this popped up. It seems like it's got some cool like queer character creation options that I'd like to check out. And I don't know if this is straight up a romance game or if it's like I might have like non-romance options. I think it's like a I think we're gonna just like be friends with this kid here. this dude, gender unknown. Yeah, so I think we'll probably just jump into it. I'm very curious. This is a free game. There is a bunch of like expanded DLC that you do pay for. I haven't purchased that yet, but if I like it, maybe I'll put it on my wish list. So let's see. Let's get a new file. I hope everyone is having a chill Valentine's Day. If you celebrate it romantically, I hope you're having a good time with your partner. If you're not a romance person, I hope you're having just a lovely Friday. Oh, no, I missed it. Okay. Full tutorial. Steps. Childhood, adolescence, adulthood. Vignettes. Moments can be played in any order. Okay. So it's kind of like a 5 moments, and you get more by purchase. Okay, so the DLCs just kind of expand the Step 4 is an epilogue. A lot happens over the years that go by, especially in regard to the character you play as. You remember nearly everything about the main character: name, appearance, personality, pronouns, interests, skills, their relationship with major characters, and so on. You can decide to change the details as time goes on, with a few exceptions. Your last name, skin tone, and eye color cannot be altered once set, which makes sense. Although you can change your last name if you want to in real life. That's not super hard. And you can wear contacts if you want different color eyes. My character's eyes are green because I thought that my eyes were like a really muddy green. I couldn't tell what color my real eyes were till I finally did like a close-up photo of myself and like color picked it. My eyes are blue. They're just a really dark, muddy blue. But my character's gonna stay with green eyes because I think it's cute. Alright. Basic traits. Selecting a name. Preset options called voice names because it'll be voiced. Oh, that's cute. You can have hear the romantic lead say your name if you pick a preset name. But only one is in there. So for those of you who are named Jamie, who would like to play this game with their name voice, you're good. That's cute. That's cute. A cute doll you can decorate. Okay. First person perspective. You want to see them see as a decorative doll in the special cut CG. Cut in CG images. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of information going on here. So you can, it sounds like you can choose whether or not you want your character to have a love interest. To be in love with your character, with this character, with Cove. decide you like Cove, the game won't force you to act on those feelings. This is nice. But you can't break up with him later if you choose to date him. You are committing. You can create a Cove if you want. Wow, there's a lot of tutorials. Okay. Alright, okay. Alright, awesome. Now we can make our little guy. Round, chubby. Alright, how do I want... Alright, we'll go with the chubby face. We're gonna make myself. I think that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna make me. So, let's see. I would like... Yeah, this one. And I literally just said my eyes are actually blue, but this is my avatar colors. These are my avatar colors. Okay, and you can change your pronouns. So we're gonna be, we're just gonna be they. Lulu. And we'll do, this is my pen name. So we'll do that. Alright, let's get some hairs. Some hair front. That kind of looks like what I do. Oh, I also like that one, actually. Oh, the messy. Yes. Okay, you got the locks. I'm kind of just here for the character creator, let's be real. I love... This looks just like Pit Crew. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Oh, that's like... I kind of like that. I don't have bangs like that in real life anymore. I need to get my bangs cut. Okay. Oh wow, there's a lot of two-tones. Thick. Thick. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of options. Alright, let's go back to we'll go with that. And we have I have long hair. I would like long hair. There we go. Yeah, that's kind of my hair color. Okay. Next page. Oh, I can have a birthmark. I don't have any birthmarks or scars. I don't usually like to do the rosy cheeks. No. I said no. Hand size. Medium, I guess. Oh yeah, glasses. Yeah, I can do glasses. Good. Good. Okay. I don't really have any of this stuff. We'll go with pants. Even though I'm dressed as like a cute little witch in this game, I don't really wear skirts ever. I never wear skirts in real life. I'm butch. Accessory types, give me hats. Pants and shirts. And then I don't wear anything else. I don't like to wear jewelry. I play with it too much. It annoys me. Alright, done. Okay. Time for me to read a lot. Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular... No, hang on. Pressed a button. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. God, I miss that. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved from passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved, or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You didn't really... Okay, now I gotta make a choice. How would I react? We're playing as me right now. We're playing as little me. Little me was anxious. If I'm a little baby right now, I was anxious. They still smiled at you anyway, and that made you feel a little more comfortable. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever, or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't recognize really, really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set up a lot of red flags. Do I have two moms in this? Is that where we're saying moms plural? I thought we were referring to like me and Cove's moms. But maybe I have two moms. That's pretty sick. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. Should I be even more anxious? I feel like I'm gonna avoid the story if I'm too anxious. You remember it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit... which one? I do feel a bit scared knowing he's blocking the way to my front door. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen. It was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met, and you took in a shaky breath, your eyes starting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby. Hey! His voice startled you and made you jump, but still you didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost, and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started to make his way toward you. Okay, well at this point, my unfortunate desire to conform to easy scripts of interaction will make me want to be friendly. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offer the stranger a smile. The man gives a grin of his own back. Do you live around here? What's your name? You look the man up and down, taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo. You wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. Well, you made your assessment. He looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. Yeah, I live here. That's great! He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. She's giving me money? How old am I in this scenario? How old is childhood? Am I like 5? 10? How old am I? Don't give money to children. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him. Well, could you do me a favor? Oh, he's voiced. Partially voiced. Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. Where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. I have a son. His name is Cove, who's about your age. He is definitely... You chewed on the inside of your cheek. The guy was definitely obsessed with water. He wasn't the only person like that in Sunset Bird. We've moved in across the street. See? He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The gigantic for sale sign was finally gone. You must be Lulu Hawthorne, right? I met your moms earlier and they told me you were 8, just like him. So I'm 8 years old. This man is coming up and offering me $20. Is he bribing me to be friends with his son? And also, yes, I confirmed I do have 2 moms. at least 2 moms. Maybe I have 3 moms. We don't know yet. We just know there's plural moms. He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners. Can you try to be friends with the boy? He is bribing me to be friends with his son. This is not how you do. You ask the moms to set up a play date, okay? You don't bribe me. Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him. But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you. Do other kids really get their parents to pay for friendships? Had your moms done that for you and Lizzie? The thought made you frown. What do you say? Want to make a deal? I don't want the money. No, thank you. Sorry. He deflated enough to notice, but not completely. Are you sure?
You sure?
It won't be so bad, even if it's just for the summer. That'd be enough. That only made him sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? Don't bribe me! I don't need to be bribed! Just say, hey, do you want to have a play date? Can your mom set up a play date? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, he tucked the bill into a back pocket and changed the request. I get it, you don't have to. Would you be more comfortable with he and I coming over by for a normal visit? No money allowed. Well, that should have been your opener. My dude, Mr. Cove's dad. Yeah, I want to meet him. His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides. I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when he said that, but with his way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you call him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Okie dokie. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that, but you were still going to help. The man smiled and reached up to pat you on the head. Paused before doing so, then reached his hand and pulled his hand away instead. Yes, please respect my boundaries. Your mom's already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Then why did you try to pay... How fucked up is Cove? He's only 8. He can't be that fucked up yet. Now I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. Thought he might come back, and it's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Lulu. So much. He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Step 1. First sight. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. Oh, absolutely, we're going with this one. You love to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagine living far beneath the waves. That's me. That's me to a T. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you'd seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. But for whatever reason, probably just he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like he'd found a deer in the wild, though deer didn't have green hair. But this new boy did. You watched as it fluttered softly around his face in the breeze. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another, and then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hi. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his sides. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? I met your dad.
Oh.
So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. You can't own a hill. Why not? How could you? You just do. I had a hill back home. Well, this still isn't mine. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad who bribes children! You sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why'd your family move? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Oh no, I made him cry. Oh no, I'm sorry, Cove. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents. They don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now I have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. You felt bad for him, being forced to come here with no choice. You couldn't imagine what it would feel like to live with only one of your moms, but it must be pretty hard. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Lulu! Cove! Kids, where'd you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here. I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not gonna all be fun, but isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not-bandaged arm. Sorry, I still don't want to go. Then I'll just wait with you. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you and they rushed over. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Okay, they're not my moms. They're not really my moms, okay? So it's okay. They're Game Lulu's moms. They're Game Lulu's moms, so I'm allowed to say I'm allowed to say they're hot, okay? They're Game Lulu's moms, not my moms. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Lulu, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove, then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. I can say I think I'm gonna marry him. No, we're not gonna go. Yeah, I like him. You nodded, smiling slightly. Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood. Good thing Lulu knows this whole area so well. Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove. Bye. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Hello, Galvanic Akashic? Hi. Yes, apparently my character has, the character I'm playing as has very hot moms. Your new friend's dad just wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Yeah, okay. Look. The moms are hot. They're hot. It sounds like words. What a response. Sure, can I show him my stuff? Of course. Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you toward the path. Satisfied, and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day. I get to choose my feelings for Cove now. How do I feel about Cove? He seems nice. I think I'm relaxed about Cove. And I think I'm a little bit fond of him. Yeah, no, I think this is really cute. Like it's a dating sim where you get to decide your character's interest, which doesn't sound like obviously that's what a dating sim is supposed to be, but I feel like in a dating sim you pick a route and you just go for it, and the game just assumes that you like that person throughout the whole route. I like that this game is giving you the option to be like, how do I feel about this person actually though? Yes. I would like to begin with those feelings. Okay. At the breakfast table the next morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Lulu? Yeah, I am. How sweet. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Yep. My bowl is empty, so I'm nodding. Good job. He should be here soon. Cleanup began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Lulu, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, Hawthorne family, thanks for having us. I still don't really like you, Cove's dad, but I like Cove, so I'll put up with you. I'll put up with the surfer dad who tried to bribe me to be his son's friend. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him, and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleased to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. Let's go play in my room. Okay.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned it a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad you noticed it. God, this really is just me. I'm just playing as myself. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. It is a little awkward, but I do hope he likes my room. You'd put a lot of effort into making your room as nice as it was. You hoped he didn't say anything bad about it. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you'd collected tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Oh.
Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. Oh, he's coming closer. Hello. Hi, Cove. You're really close now. I think so. Yeah, see? He gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand. Neat. This is a good collection. You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it. I don't know who Shiloh is. Apparently, maybe I have a little 8-year-old arch nemesis. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is going to be here today. Shiloh? Okay, they're answering my question right away. Lizzie's friend. Or like, her #1 fan, I guess? Do I have to see him? That should be okay. I mean, he's Lizzie's friend. Not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. I found this one under a big piece of seaweed that had washed ashore, and he pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the nerd option. Over the last few years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. You had a whole picture book dedicated to different shells and sea life. You learned a lot by flipping through its pages. Apparently fascinated, either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. I did not see the movie Shiloh, but I did see, I did read the book. Because I think I don't know if the book came first or if the movie was based on it, or if there was just like a novelization. But I absolutely know what you're talking about, and I also think Shiloh is a dog's name. I also hear Shiloh and think that's a beagle. Shiloh's a beagle. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him every now and then, while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. This guy's gonna show up, he'll be a beagle who does art better than an 8-year-old. God, I hope so! Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. Why do we have to be here? This is my older sister's friend. Why do I have to be here? Let us go look at shells, Mom. I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Okay, but be careful. I will. You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one's the best of them. That's my favorite too. Cove smiled at you and both admired the shell together. It was a giant conch with shades of dark and light orange. You held it to your ear. If you held it to your ear, you could practically hear the ocean. I found that one last summer when we went to the beach on a picnic. Two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lizzie's friend? You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. He'll be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. I'm really confused about what's happening in this scenario. Like, why are we This is my big sister's friend and I have a friend over. Why do I have to be here? Why do I have to let my sister's friend in? That's Lizzie's problem. That's not my problem. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you. Is Shiloh hunting him down? What? Maybe it is a beagle. You like the beagle and are excited to see. Yeah, I don't... Like, is Shiloh an actual real-life dog? That's... Like... like, sorry, Cove, Shiloh's gonna come and eat you. Is that the vibes I'm getting? I'm getting the vibes of, like, when I was 8 years old and my older cousin told me that if I went down the stairs by myself, that the fucking... What's it called? That fucking Gloppy from Candyland, that if I went downstairs, the big Gloppy monster from Candyland would eat me. Because she didn't want me to go in her room. So I was so scared of fucking Gloppy. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked onto the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it. Well, I'm glad they're at least fascinating experiences. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused. Good idea, let's go. I'm still so confused about why I have to be here for Shiloh. He's the least scary person alive. Every single bunny rabbit is scarier than Shiloh. But I don't want to see him. I don't know him. I will be encouraging. Hey, if you do have a hard time with him, I'll tell him to leave. Is that okay? Okay. Shiloh poked his head into the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had.
Hi.
Wait, this is a child. That's an entire child. He does kind of look like a beagle, though. I'm not gonna lie. He looks like if a beagle was a person. Hi, Lulu! And hi, Cove? Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you. Yeah. You have a lot of freckles. Right. I do. What are you guys doing? We're looking at shells. Awesome. Can I do it too? Cove shrugged, then looked back at your box of beach findings. What about that one? So, why is Shiloh hanging out with me? And where is... Okay, I have not met my sister yet. I have not met Lizzie. So is Shiloh actually Lizzie's friend? Or is he like the annoying neighbor kid that keeps getting passed off onto us? The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach things some more. We weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out this scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color, kind of like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? Maybe green or blue? It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
Okay, I know Cove is 8, but I know Cove is 8 and he's dealing with his parents' divorce, but why are you being so mean to this, like, this 4-year-old? There's no way Shiloh is older than, like, 5. Yeah, I don't know how... I would not know what to do. If I was 8 years old, I would not know what to do with the awkward silence. Not sure how to deal with the suddenly more awkward silence. You look back at your shells. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. He's a 6,000-year-old vampire who can transform into a dog? Powerful. Extremely powerful imagery, actually. Oh, computer. I clicked off. Okay, here we go. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you, either. Is Lizzie coming back? Don't know. Aww. Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach. Probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yep, but it's old. Can you show me? I want to go. He started getting up before he'd even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too, right, Lulu? The park is fun. You know, the park's pretty great. Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do, and lots of sand. There's a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. That sounds like it could be cool. So, are we going to find Lizzie? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check out the park. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced your moms that it was so short that she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie. Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Lulu, Shiloh! Hi! She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you. But now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too. Who's that? Okay, so this is what my sister looks like. It's Cove. He's new. Oh, I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured wildly with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear, quiet enough the others wouldn't overhear. I thought kids couldn't own places like parks, or hills. You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wiggle your toes through the warm sand. God, I wish that were me. I wish I were on a beach. It's cold out here. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You are? Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job? I think my sister might be a jerk. I think my sister might be annoying. Lizzie is the oldest. By a lot. My mom said you're Lulu's age. Yeah? I thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. Oh, okay. She's like 10 or 11. Yeah. No, that's exactly how children are. Like, this is how like a 10-year-old is. They're annoyed. It's their God-given right to be annoying. But children get to be annoying because it's like compensation for having to be a child in a world that does not give a shit about children. What about the other kids? Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth. Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. But something in his eyes shifted, and he looked back at Lizzie. What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation. I met Lizzie and Lulu in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over. I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end. Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversation with Cove. I like summer vacation a lot too. All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. And Shiloh took comfort at how weird she thought Cove was at something else entirely. You didn't really know. But she laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it. Ugh. You offered him a small smile that at least looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way the sun and lunch and the beach were. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course, that was only the start of things. Okay, so now I get to pick moments. What moments should I do in step 1? So there's some DLC ones. I think I want to do fireflies. I love fireflies. Let's do a fireflies moment. Alright, tonight we're going to catch fireflies. At this blunt declaration from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. Tonight was particularly balmy, so you knew there'd be bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, you are you? Yeah, I want to catch fireflies. I love fireflies. You rocked lightly from side to side in your seat, already excited for your after-dinner activity. Catching fireflies was a great way to spend a summer evening, and you could already envision little lightning bugs drifting through the darkened sky. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we, Miss Hawthorne? Shiloh typed his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. Oh, okay. I'm understanding now. I'm putting the pieces together. Shiloh's mom works. Shiloh doesn't have anywhere to go. Shiloh gets dropped off at our house. That's why we had to be there for Shiloh's visit. He wasn't there. He didn't just walk over to say hi to Lizzie. He was being babysat. We were babysitting. I understand. But normally she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let your moms know she'd be late. You didn't hear why. Probably more work things. You thought maybe the getting hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get your moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited there for her response.
There.
Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Along with Lizzie's cheers, you threw your arms up in triumph, but waited until you finished chewing to say anything because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full.
Fine.
Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the poppies, okay? Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you, like the fairies from the bedtime stories Mommy read sometimes. All too quickly it became a race to see who could finish their food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right. If someone died, we'd have to cancel the Firefly trip after all. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew they were both telling you kids to slow down. Shiloh did immediately. When you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth.
Jeez.
No one is gonna die. Sheesh. A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over to the door, pulling it open without even looking out the window to see who it was. Huh? You shifted in your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Good evening, Cove. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Shiloh's floppy hat. Oh, Cove! Hi, you're here. Cove smiled at your enthusiastic greeting, and you hoped Mommy would ask him to stay. It didn't matter why he was there, it meant he could join you all in catching fireflies. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off, because I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver out from his large side pocket, eyes now dropped to the floor. We left ours back home when we moved. Great! you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged, and Mom stood up from the table too. I'll give your dad a call to let him know you got here all right. Why do you have to call him? They live across the street. So I don't know what era this game was made in, but I was part of the generation that was literally just on the cusp of like the internet becoming a thing. So we played outside all the time. I played with the people like behind, like the kids who lived in the house behind mine. We didn't call. We just walked over. Like, my parents didn't need to call. We just walked across. We just walked there. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Yeah, exactly. Like, kids, you could, like, I feel like the era that this game is, like, trying to evoke, kids just ran around wherever the fuck they wanted. We didn't give a shit. Hi, Cove. Shiloh gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. Cove, are you gonna catch fireflies with us? You can see Lizzie eyeing you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider. But you get over it. Kid ties, I'll just get another one. I mean, yes, true. But also I just feel like there was a time where like it was just more adventurous. Kids were allowed to be more adventurous. Like I'm not gonna go into that particular rant, but I feel like there was a point of time where it wasn't even necessarily negligence, it was just like being allowed to trust the children. Now it's all like we've got to like control what children do at every moment of every day. We have to control the children's thoughts. You hoped Cove would say yes. That way you wouldn't be the odd one out with Lizzie and Shiloh anymore.
Yeah.
I can do that. I've never caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies weren't out when he first moved in, and there must not have been anywhere where he used to live. We can't go till after dinner. After she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cove stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scraps of food on his plate. Eggs is what I had for dinner tonight. Eggs is good. The perfect food. Her phone call with Cove's dad must have ended because your mom came back into the room.
Okay.
Cove, your dad said you could stay for a little while if you like, but he's gonna come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fine.
Oh, fun. This will be so nice. As you polish off the meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. Oh, for sure. Like, he has the world's most divorced dad. That man is making scrambled eggs and like canned soup every single night. Maybe a frozen pizza if he's lucky. It's fine, Mom. Shiloh trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cove hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment, he did.
Bye.
Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh by the time he walked outside. He pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get farther and farther away. That's so true.
Hurry up!
You're so slow, Lulu. We don't have all night. Started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. I'm gonna walk with him. You fell behind, silently up next to him and matching his stride. He noticed right away.
It's okay.
You can go ahead if you want. You smile and shake your head. I don't. After a short while, the two of you reached the hill behind the house. The fireflies were out in full force, floating on the breeze, their gentle glow winking in and out and creating an almost magical effect. Lizzie had already climbed to the top. Charlotte was spinning in a circle somewhere around the middle. Wow. Charlotte took a moment to come over and welcome both of you to the hill. Hey guys, it's really great out, huh? See how many there are? Yeah. The firefly danced through the air, floating on its cove's sea green head. I'm gonna giggle. That's a little cute. That's a little cute. That's a cute. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked over at you in confusion. What? You gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the glow. Oh, look! Lizzie has one! That's amazing! Shiloh ran to the highest point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered, shifting your gaze to the dozens of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. God, you're so right, though. Like, this is definitely older because, although, no, I was gonna say I couldn't remember if this was originally it's not a Japanese game. I think there's a lot more fireflies in Japan. Maybe I'm making some, but this is not a Japanese game, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I remember catching them when I was a kid, and now I barely see them. I'm so sad. So I can decide how injured I am. That's very funny. I was a very careful child, so I didn't get any cuts. I don't have any cuts. I think so. I feel like they show up. I feel like I see them in anime a lot is the thing, which is not like it's not obviously not a source. But I feel like if there's a reason they would show up in media if they existed for real at some level. Spotting one close by, you approach it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem like less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around your little glowing orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, and you stared down at your prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to clap his hands around the firefly. Cove watched it vanish into thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. I want to show him my firefly. Hey, want to see the one I got? Cove gave one more look in the direction of his lost prize before coming no closer and peering at the insect still crawling across your palm. You held out your hand and he leaned closer, eyes widening a tad behind his glasses. I still, it's been on my list for years. I have not seen Evangelion, but I get the joke. But no, it's very true. There's like, obviously some things are exaggerated and some things don't show up and some things are fantasy. But other things are like, if you're making something in a society, some parts of that society is going to be reflected in what you make regardless. So some things are true about anime. Sometimes anime is real. Cove remained hypnotized by the little bug as he inched his hand closer to yours. Ultimately, he settled his fingers lightly over the top of the ones you were holding open. It tingled. You stayed very still. The last thing you wanted was to accidentally scare the shiny treasure off. The firefly, noticing the new connection, crawled up onto Cove's hand. He quietly gasped. Okay. That is a really large hand for an 8-year-old. I'm just gonna say it. It's a really big 8-year-old hand. Yeah, you got one. Cove's lips turned up into a slow smile, and his eyes shined brighter than the bug. Thanks, Lulu. With a laugh, he gave the palm of your hand a friendly smack, forming an awkward low 5. Startled by the extreme movement, the tiny light disappeared before you could even blink. Your firefly was gone.
Sorry.
Oops, sorry. It's fine. There's a bajillion fireflies everywhere. It's fine. Do you see all of them behind you? We're not gonna keep, yeah, that's not okay, I wasn't keeping forever.
You're right.
Right, bugs have to stay outside. Let's get another. Let's collect some more. We can work together. His face broke out into a wide grin. Look at a bunch. With renewed vigor, you ran out into the hill. You're not sure how much time passed while you were in the thick of it. All you could focus on was the adventure at hand. No critter was safe from your grasp. At first, you tried to keep a tally of how many you had caught. Once their number grew higher than the 10, then you had no more fingers left to count with. You were having the time of your life, racing up and down the hill with the crash of the ocean and the sound of everyone's laughter echoing in the background. Lulu, this way. You followed the sound of Ko's voice to the top of the hill, watching as he stretched his arms in front of him, reaching with his fingers and only narrowly missing his target. Cove and you took turns trying to scare the fireflies the direction of the other. You showed him some techniques that you had learned, like how to cup your hands correctly, and he listened attentively before trying for himself. There were a few times when you almost ran into each other, giggling as you dove to the side at the last moment. Luckily, disaster was avoided each time. It was an overall huge success, with both of you catching multiple fireflies each. Eventually, the fireflies began to thin out, and your energy started to lapse. You decided it was time to call off the hunt. Cove didn't complain. He breathed in heavily, and his face seemed really flushed. That was fun. A lot of fun. You smiled at him broadly, happy that he had enjoyed the activity. Yeah, it was.
Come on!
Lulu, Cove, get up here. We're gonna have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you had heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over them to see them both standing on top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning to you with quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eye, you saw Cove was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued just by the idea of a race. Hi!
Cove.
Hi! Cove, you can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh, it was that kind of race. He frowned down at his cast. That was the second time it got in the way tonight. What? Yeah, you'll watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important. Got it? I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have been looking for a reason to make someone else the referee, but it was already decided. I'm gonna stay with my buddy.
Really?
Really? Why? You don't have to. It's okay, I want to watch. You moved beside him on top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how races work. We only need one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a huff before throwing her hands in the air. Fine. I'll be the winner whether you join or not. Like, okay, I'm just thinking, in this situation, I have no other friends. Cove is my only friend. There's Lizzie. Lizzie is fun. But she's also like my overbearing older sister. Shiloh is sweet, but Shiloh just wants to impress Lizzie. I'm going to stick with my friend. This is my bestie. Even though I do really want to roll down the hill. I love rolling down hills. I miss getting to do that. Lizzie moved to lay down, and Charlotte did the same. Cove stood slightly to the side to get a better vantage point, and you stood next to him. Countdown! Cove stood up a little straighter. It seemed that he was taking his newfound referee duties seriously. 3, 2, 1, go! Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling at high speed toward the bottom of the hill. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go, eyes peeled for which of the two would reach the bottom first. They were both neck and neck, until about halfway down the hill, Lizzie started to veer off to the side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed a thing, and as soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately, he fell back on the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. The only thing that's stopping me from rolling down the hill is the fact that I cannot find a hill to roll down. Genuinely. That's literally all there is that I am not in a place where there are good hills to roll down. Everything is either, like, terrible and rocky, or, like, not big enough. There's just not a good hill. Yeah, exactly. Like, there might be, like, I don't even think there's, like, a sled hill around the area I'm at now. There used to be a big old sled hill where I lived, but I don't know about this area. Everything's just, like, if there's a nice hill, it's definitely got too many trees to roll down. Lizzie stomped out of the bush she had ended up in, spluttering angrily and brushing leaves from the front of her dress. Not bad. You got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No. He snickered, feeling grateful you hadn't been a part of the mini debacle. He caught Cove's eyes and saw he was doing the same. It had gotten late and it was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. Oh yeah, I have not been up to New York, but I assume you've got some great hills up there. Good luck with the snow though. I hope it's not, like, I hope it's good snow and not like I'm going to die from a car accident snow. It had gotten late and was beginning to feel a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together side by side down your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter anyway. All that mattered was that you all had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. Whew. Okay. Let me see what the time is. So I'm only planning on going for about usually I only go for about 2 hours, and I'm gonna be real. Reading out loud for so long is a lot. So while I would really love to do like all of these, I think I might skip to the next section. Just for this playthrough, so we can see. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your moms, Lizzie, and Co. as the five of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You like to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had magicians on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. He didn't do real magic, Mom. How did you figure that out? Because I know that's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie dear, there are all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. You looked over at Cove, who hadn't said a word since you started home. He didn't look upset, though, just content. You were aware he still hadn't quite warmed up to your parents. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan. Mom, summer's almost over. The protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. Bring out the puppy dog eyes. Oh, don't look at me like that. Like what?
Please.
So we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now, too. Lizzie made her case, then stomped her foot into the ground. You mimicked her, feeling that it would add something to the argument. Yeah. That's why we have to make summer last longer. Well...
No.
Oh, come on, Pam. I can help you with dinner. Mommy leaned in for a hug, and you knew we were very close to victory.
Okay.
All right. But as soon as dinner's ready, you and Lot are coming inside, understood? Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Cove, dear, you're welcome to join us as well. You grinned at Cove and nudged his arm with your elbow. Oh, wait, no, I'm not trying to save. Cove gave a non-committal shrug to your mommy, which you took as an agreement. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I could still get the seashell bracelet at Tines and Trinkets. Ooh, or maybe the playground. Or the fireflies would probably be coming out, right? Don't I get a say in this? Lizzie looked over at you, narrowing her eyes like she was very seriously contemplating the answer to that question. A strong gust of wind made you shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself.
Rude.
Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on your heel and heading off in the direction your mothers had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. You thought this over, looking off towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long she was disappearing off down the road. Meanwhile, Cove was going in the opposite direction, heading for the beach. I'm going with Cove. That's the point of this game, I'm going with Cove. Sorry, Lizzie, I know you're my sister. In real life, I would probably prioritize my sister, but I'm here for Cove. Cove gave you a smile that you couldn't help but return. Cool. He made a little gesture that you interpreted as, follow me, then started heading to the waves. Cove knelt down, picking up something you quickly identified as a smooth rock. He reared his arm back and tossed it out into the water. Oh, I get to decide? Why do I get to decide how good his skip is? Why do I get to decide how good his throw is? I'll say he got I also want to throw rocks. Deciding to join Cove, you searched nearby for any rocks or shells that you could throw to. You found a shell that would suit your purposes, a smile growing as you tossed it as hard as you could. It landed with a wet-sounding thunk a few feet away and slipped down into the water. When you looked over at Cove, you didn't seem to notice that his throw had been more impressive. That's true. It is a meta moment. Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface, even though you were pretty sure he couldn't feel it. His brow was furrowed, and there was a frown on his face. It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim. When do you get it off? Cove shrugged and didn't say anything. For a second, you thought maybe he didn't know, but finally he sighed. A few weeks. For an 8-year-old, that's an eternity. You hoped the upcoming weeks flew by for Cove. It was clear how badly he wanted it off. Cove let out a huff, plopping down into the sand. Can't believe summer's almost over. You sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change. I don't want to go to school. I mean, I would. I don't want to go to a new school. I think it'll be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that. Cool. You're going to like it. Everyone's super nice. You've only ever been to the one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knees as he drew them to his chest. You heard a sniffling sound, and when you took a good look at his face, you realized that his eyes were wet.
I want to go home.
Oh, baby. You've never had to move before, but you thought you could understand. If you had to go to a new school all of a sudden with all new people, you'd probably be dreading it too. Even though you sort of maybe understood, you weren't sure how to help. Okay. I'll see you later? Cove gave his head a small shake. No, I want to go back home. Right. Cove wanted to go back to his old home. The one that sat waiting someplace far from here. The one he would bring up whenever he felt this sad. It'd been a while since he had moved in, but he didn't seem to feel any better about being here. He settled back down into the sand, trying to consider what to do. What kind of an 8-year-old am I? I think I'm it'll be alright 8-year-old. Sometimes when you were sad about something, your mom said that to you. In the moment, you thought it couldn't possibly be alright because Sir Stuff-a-Lot had lost his arm, or you skinned your knee, or you couldn't possibly finish all your vegetables. But in the end, they were always right. You're not going to leave, right? You'll still be around? The question was a little surprising. Yeah, of course. I'm not going. I'm 8. I can't go. I can't decide. Your parents would have mentioned if you were going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod. Yes, it is like it's like an anthology game. Like, there's, like, I think we saw before, we could pick those moments to go through, and depending on what happens. Yes, because I think in the next section is going to be, we're going to be teenagers. Because I think there's like 4 sections where you get childhood, adolescence, young adulthood, and then like an epilogue as an adult. Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming. We were fine with him changing the subject again. Yeah, that would be fun. Cove smiled, then looked back to the waves. My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually, that I'll feel better then. It used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything. He spared a glance over at Cove and saw the anger had slipped off his face in favor of something almost puzzled. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can't see it. You can remember a long time ago when you first started going to school. You had absolutely not been okay with the idea of being away from your parents for most of the day, to listen to strangers tell you what to do and to sit with kids you'd never met before. Things changing is hard. I'll just hold his hand. You were not quite certain what to say to that, so you reached out and take hold of Cove's hand. The one closest to you is the one in his cast, so you made sure you were very gentle. As you watched, Cove's eyes got a little misty once more. You got the feeling that they were very different, that they were different tears than the ones from before, though. I hope next summer I'll surf and go exploring and everything will feel like it's supposed to again. You will. It will. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sounds of the waves. You hoped that Cove would be able to accept this place as his new home. You'd definitely try to help in what ways you could. There were so many wonderful things here Cove probably hadn't even seen yet. Lost in thought, you started a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. The sound of your mom shouting your name. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Time had really gone by fast. You stood and dusted the sand off yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked up at you, expression screaming reluctance. Yet ultimately, okay. When you smiled, Cove returned with one of his own. Lulu, thanks.
Thanks.
It was nice. Where you were right then. But the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. You were being called forward. So the both of you ran off to your house, leaving the waves and the summer behind. Woof. This is a lot of reading. Okay, so now we're gonna grow up so I can make some changes to my appearance if I want. I'm gonna be a teenager, so should I cut my hair? I do have a soft spot for pigtails. This is not like what I looked like as a teenager at all. I just had the same long hair. I've had the same long hair for pretty much my entire life, just with varying degrees of layers. I think we're gonna go like with the cute little pigtails. I think that's cute. I can have braces. Actually, yeah, you know what? That's funny. I'm gonna have braces. Is there anything else I should change? I'm gonna have earrings. That's fun. I can't see them, so I don't know what they look like. I didn't get my ears pierced until I was in like college. Acne. Too real, too real. It's really funny you say that because that's where I got my ears pierced in real life too. I made the mistake of doing it at Claire's. I don't really know what direct means. Direct comfort versus relaxed. I'm just gonna stay where I'm at, I think. I don't think I have a crush on Cove yet. I don't want to... I just want to see what Cove looks like. Wait, okay. Ah! I didn't want to go for it. Back. What happened? Yes. No, I don't... Hang on. I just want him to be however the game made him. I don't want to decide. I want the game... I want my choices to have made the decision for me. August ended. September began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, they were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was a sign that Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright, but he kept his distance from the other kids. From what you saw, anyway. Whenever he could, Cove stuck to you like glue. He didn't even mind that much what you did to pass the time, as long as it was together. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it and saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It had made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Then you found out it meant Cove would keep living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too. For different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. Seemed very confident that it was an effective strategy. Honestly, yeah, I'm concerned. See, the thing is, we still don't know how Cove broke his arm or why he's wearing a cast. I'm sure I don't know if this game gets that intense, but my fear is that something happened with Mom. He seemed very confident that it was an effective strategy. Cove never talked to anyone about what happened with his parents and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. Still, you worried about him. You could tell he wasn't completely happy. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal. Except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. That made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. The toys and crayons used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes, too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the plain plaster, it ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did with school stuff overall. Over the years, he still remained familiar in a lot of ways. He talked to people when they came to him, but never really searched out company on his own. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. Shiloh's gone! We don't get to see him all grown up. He and his mom moved back south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Bird. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Thing is I think you can only go after... I think the whole point of this game is your relationship with Cove. I don't think you get to pick anybody else. Like, I don't think you get to pick Shiloh at all. But I wonder if any choices I had made might have made Shiloh stick around. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't like how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You go, Mom. You remember calling her Mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She had kissed it on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and the shopping street, which you took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You just started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Wow, there's a lot of explanation. Oh, there's a lot of exposition, my goodness. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed in small and big ways. You had to. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. And before you knew it, school was over, and summer vacation had come again. Whew, okay. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was hot as ever, but you were inside and away from his harsh rays. To be more specific, you were... Am I sleepy? Or am I wakey? The me of today is very, very eepy, but teenage me was actually very good at getting up. So I think I'm wide awake. You made sure to slather on a generous amount of sunscreen so you didn't get burnt. You were looking in the mirror, studying the clothes you'd thrown on, when your bedroom door opened without warning. In the reflection, you saw Elizabeth raise an eyebrow. Hey, girl! Have you been staring at yourself this whole morning? Could you knock next time? She ignored that, crossing her arms over her chest with a disgruntled expression. Clearly, she hadn't come in just to see you. Mom told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift for Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, say thanks or whatever. So come down already. Oh yeah, yay, Cove. Let's go see Cove. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. Now alone, you focused on the mirror once again. How tall am I? Trouble making me so tiny that I can't even look at the mirror. I'm average. Cove was really tall. Derek was kind of short, and you were pretty much the exact height that someone would expect for a 13-year-old. I'm fine with it. It suited you well in your mind. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favor. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. Right or short? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. 13-year-olds can be literally any fucking height. That's when you start to get kids who are like still the size they were when they were like 7 versus the people who are like 7 feet tall. You left your room taking an easy time down the stairs. Alright, we're at step 2. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Morning, Lulu. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and thank him before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh.
Look who finally made it. Morning, sleepyhead. That's not purple enough. You said my mom dyed her hair purple. That's barely purple. Come on, Mom. She was taller than average, so you were little in her eyes despite being a typical size for your own. They're gonna just hammer in the typical size. You are average size. Yeah, she could ruffle my hair. That type of small affection exchange was nice. She placed the whole of her hand on the top of your head for a second before lifting it back up. You're the last one down today, you know that? Life isn't a race. Funny. I don't think that excuse will work if you're late for anyone other than your own mother, though. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. That's exactly what it sounds like, yeah. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. Oh no, he's cute. Look at him. He's got a little... Hi, are you... I just wanted to ruffle his hair. You leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as the longer strands of his hair idly drifted with the breeze. His features were pinched in embarrassment, and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much talked about gift. At first glance, you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead it was carefully cut fruit. It made a lot of sense that this was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. Hang on, no. You're putting words in my mouth. I think a fruit flower bouquet rules. That slaps, actually, and I would love it. It's Valentine's Day today. If I had a partner and they just gave me regular flowers, that'd be great. I would appreciate it. It would be very nice. If they gave me a fruit bouquet, that'd be awesome. I'd be so, like, that would raise their attractiveness like 5 times, because a fruit bouquet is awesome. It's fun, colorful, and good for you, and delicious. That kind of arrangement is built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever is inevitably going to receive it. I guess, yeah, I'm not very picky when it comes to fruits, but I suppose that could be true. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. World a little fruity. Hell yes. Yes, that would be great. Cove smiled at the sight of you. The sting of this goofy errand, he was clearly embarrassed to be uneased. Hey, Lulu. You smiled back. It was second nature to you. Cove had always been such a close friend, ever since the two of you were kids. Hey, it's nice to see you. Yeah, you too. Your grin widened even more. Every time you came, your mood was brightened. It was already shaping up to be another long summer with plenty of time for the two of you to have fun together. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you. He was ready to be relieved of it. And with that, the gift was accepted. This thing was definitely Dad's idea. I would have gone for something else, but if you can't eat it all, I wouldn't mind taking a couple skewers. He smiled, looking amusedly at the gift and then back to you. You called that one. I don't think I'm gonna start flirting yet. Thank you. Right now we're buddies. We have not crossed into romance territory yet. We're buddies. Can you tell your dad we love the gift? Yeah. Mr. Holden's behavior was different from any neighbor you'd ever had. After 5 years, you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. I mean, I'm still a little hung up on the fact that my very first interaction with him was him offering me $20 to be friends with his son. I get that he was in a vulnerable place, but he walked up to an 8-year-old and tried to give them $20 to be friends with his son. And I feel like there are better ways that you can deal with the stress of a divorce. So he's not handsome. He's a surfer bro. I'm too much of a lesbian to find him attractive at all. I'm gonna say he's weird. You couldn't imagine having to live with him all the time like Cove did. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove. As one, both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. It didn't take us long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. How do I feel about my... Okay, you told me in the story that Derek is my friend. Why would I be displeased at the sight of him? I guess I'm confused. You hadn't expected to see Derek today, though you never really knew when he'd appear. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin. Hey, guy and pal. I was just at your house, Cove, and no one was there. Wait, is this kid also supposed to be a teenager? He looks like he's 9. He looks like he's half Cove's age. Should have figured you'd been at Lulu's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or are you always just there? Derek laughed his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more, when his eyes widened and gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze, unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were still holding Mr. Holden's gift. Say that 5 times fast, holding Mr. Holden's gift. This? It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made out of fruit.
Nice.
Nice! Can I have some? I mean, he's my friend. Yeah, sure, we can share. Derek grew more excited by her words, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Awesome! Then he nodded his head, as if to clear it. Okay. Anyway, that's right. I came here because I needed to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid here in Sunset Bird. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they with their family? Maybe they were cutting through. Nuh-uh. The new kid was all by himself, just walking. Did you talk to him?
Nope.
Nope. I came to report the sighting right away. The kid had green hair, glasses, was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. You blinked. Slowly, you turned and looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove. When you first got here, anyway. Oh, yeah. I guess that was me back then. Derek snickered good-naturedly. I can see that really well now that you say so. What do you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned. Then he pointed down the street and away he came. You are right. That is true. I did say that. So this is correct. Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going in this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The 3 of you were off with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio you made your way down to the shore to the old playground. You walked a familiar path in comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched-up expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. You shared a look with Cove. He was really reluctant to start up a conversation. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy. Hey, guy, over here! Oh no, he looks so mad. He looks like he's giving like cat angry that it's been picked up vibes. The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
What? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it? No, I'm Derek. That's Lulu and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so you know it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid. Of course, I knew it. I would like you to go away. Go away, bot. Go away, bot. What?
My parents.
My parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own?
Right.
Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird too when he has to come for work. And all that stuff. It's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation probably either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time, a chore. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come see them. Ugh! If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
I guess! That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No! He's so angry. Yeah, it was just a bot asking me if I wanted more viewers. Man, this Jeremy kid. They should have gone by themselves if they cared so much and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. Poof. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? This man, you peed in your cereal this morning. Hang on. I gotta go with that one. Who peed in your cereal this morning? Jeremy's lips curled, his face contorted from anger to horror.
That's disgusting.
Why would you think of something like that? It's disgusting.
Sheesh.
It's just an expression. He took a deep breath. He thought for one hopeful second that maybe he was calming himself down. He was not. So what? You're putting it in people's heads. I don't want to have to think about it, and someone brainless might decide it's a good idea and actually do it. Dude, child. Jeremy, sir. What are you doing in this game? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Cove. There's some real stupids out in the world, you know. You're all living proof of that. Okay. I know you're having a rough time, my dude, but that was uncalled for. Hey!
Hey!
We're not stupid. Stop it. You first. You turned to Cove, lowering your voice. Jeremy must have had good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Okay, listen, Jeremy. I've been thinking that the whole time, but you can't just say that. You can't just say it! You can't just say it out loud! Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. Yeah, how can you say that when you've got a bowl cut? Look. Literally all we did was come and say hello, and you have literally just been, like, at our throats for just existing. So, apologize, please.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry your eyebrows are so terrible. I'm gonna throw hands with a 13-year-old. I'm just gonna roll my eyes. His behavior was unbelievably childish. You bet this is what Elizabeth imagines she's dealing with whenever you do anything. But with Jeremy, he really is like a kid. Wow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow. What is wrong with you?
I'm glad they voiced that line. Wah. This is dumb. You're dumb. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over, until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those earlier complaints, this new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did too shortly after. There wasn't much else to do. This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun, hang out maybe. He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But you know what would really improve the day? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point. I'm still holding the fruit arrangement! You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You'd gotten used to the wait. Glancing over to Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. No, why not? Let's eat it. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? You nodded. With an eager grin, he pricked out a prime row of fruits. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Ooh, strawberry, strawberry, strawberry. I want a strawberry. Started was bright red and beckoning you. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within moments. This is amazing. It's not different than any normal fruit. It's kind of worse. These have been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Sheesh. Hey, you two remember the Land Before Time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked the leaves that were shaped like stars. Yeah! Land Before Time mentioned! Tree stars. Yeah, chopping leaves looked so delicious when they did it. Then there was that scene with the pretty trees and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything off them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome. Do you think things taste better when they're shaped like stars? He snickered. Not everything, but it probably helps. The three of you continued this for the next few minutes. Eventually, the display was barren. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. It did make you feel better. Derek was right. It was so good you were already bright enough from the earlier drama. Hey, Lulu. Yeah? She met eyes casually. That was pretty cool, what you said back at the guy. Oh, thanks. I was just saying what I thought. Derek chimed in while in high spirits. You totally owned him. I don't know what his parents say, but it's good at least someone is around to tell him what's what. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a content sky. So, you both ready for summer break? Yeah? Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. Feels like there's a lot to plan for. What about you, Cove? Are you ready? I think that depends. Before you could say anything else... Okay. I really thought that this scene was going to be ending soon. I am dying. I've been reading for 2 hours straight out loud. I love visual novels, but maybe they are not good for stream. This is really cute though. I'm really enjoying this so far, and I definitely want to like poke around with like all the bits that I didn't get to look at. Yeah, we're in another summer vacation. We're at summer vacation 5 years to the future. I think that's maybe that's the conceit of the game. We're gonna have like different summer vacations in our lives. But I think this is a really cute game, and I recommend people play it. It is free on Steam. You only have to pay for it if you want like the DLC stuff. But yeah, I got things to do this evening, and I would like to have a voice for those things. So thank you for joining me today. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. Hopefully your Valentine's Day is not spoiled by a little jerk face named Jeremy. Have a lovely evening, a lovely day, night, afternoon, morning. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great one. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the stop streaming button because I need to stop talking for a little while. Alright, bye-bye.